Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus here again, spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people. Today, I'd like to spend a little time and see if I can address some of those concerns about the world in which we live in today, in comparison perhaps to where we come from or where we plan to be going. And I'd like to use a couple of supporters of some of the things I'd like to say. One would be from David Feldman, and the other would be from the Midas Touch. But one thing I'd like to start off with that I think is common amongst all human beings on the face of the earth, and that is that everyone wants to live a satisfied life, something what many might call a heavenly life. Well, there are some things that we've experienced within our existence here on this earth that we might be able to identify with. Some of the things, at least. One of the things that we call, some people call critical, some call wrong. But nevertheless, it occurred and it had its reason for occurring and it had its purpose. One is that time that O.J. Simpson was accused of killing his wife and her friend. Now, everybody knows what that was all about. Many people say that O.J., though he was found innocent, actually killed the individuals. And I'm not going to say that he didn't. What I do want to say, though, is that black people were elated when he was exonerated. And why was this such an excitement for black people? It has been understood that black people have been so abused by the system, the two-tier system, or however you want to call it, during our lifetime here in this country, to see a black man go up against the system, a black man who was highlighted by white people as being something special, something extraordinary. In other words, they actually claimed him from the black community, and it appeared that he was fine with that. But after this occurred, then the white people said, oh, we don't have anything to do with this, but he was exonerated. So black people, as it was said, knew that O.J. killed these two people, but they were excited because he got off. And that might be the truth. It did happen. So these represent what we might call a failed system, if it were like it's being stated. On the other hand, we have whites. Now, what we talk about when we say whites want Trump. Everybody knows Donald Trump now. If they didn't before, they know him now. But they want him to win, even though they know he's as crooked as any tree. But he represents the injustices, the same kind that black people had to endure all of their existence here. Now, white people were enduring injustices as well. But they were told that they were above it because they were white. They were protected. And at the same time, you still had those who got and those who did not have. And many of them were white people. But they weren't told that the system was designed in such a way to abuse them as it was to abuse blacks, but that they were being abused because of black people. In other words, they took the responsibility of the suffering that poor white has to go through by blaming it on the minorities, blaming it on blacks. And what it did, even though we evidence of it here today, is these white people who were victims of that think it's a great thing to have Donald Trump. They're not even concerned about what he is and what he would do to them. They just believe everything that he says because they are looking for something, some kind of justice, and they're hoping. Well, what it does, it represents a failed system. But it doesn't just stop there, things like this. We have on the Supreme Court many men who have given the indication that they are not fit to judge others because of their own conduct. One of these gentlemen is Clarence Thomas. Now, Clarence Thomas, people say that when he was dealing with the issue of Anita Hill, that he violated her, but he was able to argue that he didn't. However, the people knew that he did it. This is the feel that he did it. And not just to stop there, in his position today of power, he has a wife who is so disenchanted with the way the system is, glorying in the opportunity to be representative of righteousness, according to what they know, that she supported the destruction of the democratic process here in the United States of America. And she and her husband sit there talking about this. They say they don't talk about it, but you and I know that they do. And his plan is to do whatever he can to be a part of the system that exists. In other words, a part of the failed system. And his wife, who don't see the system as a failed system, or does, and think that the new system would be better. The same system that did it to blacks, the same system that have done it to poor people, she thinks that system should be changed and do it more of it. And possibly the support of her husband to see Supreme Court justice. Well, we will see. But it represents, too, a failed system. But we won't just stop there. Let's go to a president, an ex-president named George W. Bush. George W. Bush, we know the history of George W. Bush. He represents white supremacy, especially when it came down to other people of other parts of the world. They decided to tell a lie that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction. And they went in, even though the indication is that they didn't, and demolished to a certain degree Iraq. Didn't matter how many people they killed, women, men, children, babies, old folks, property destroyed. Didn't make any difference. They had an agenda. And that agenda, my friends, was carried out. It was charged that George Bush and his administration should be tried for war crimes. It hasn't happened because they got the power to prevent it from happening up to this point. But what it does, likewise, is represent a failed system. Now, it seems that every walk of life, every way we go, we are running into a failed system, a system that does not work for you and you and you and you, us. It works for some here, some there, some here, some there, and causes pain and suffering to those that it does not work for, indicating that it is a failed system. Now, in order to deal with these failed systems, certain things have got to be done. Now, there was a man once that walked the face of America. His name was Dr. Martin Luther King, and he used scripture, even though some people say the Bible is erroneous, doesn't have any real value, just somebody's idea. But he walked around talking about love. He talked about love, not just for the people who had been abused, black people, but all people. And for that, he was murdered. He was murdered because he cared about folks. He was murdered because he talked about love. Now you have another guy that comes along named Donald J. Trump. Does he talk about love? No way. The only thing he talks about is hate. The only thing he talks about is killing and getting even with people. And guess what? They didn't kill him. They made him president of the United States. And when the people got a feel of what he was about, they decided to let him go. And when he was let go, he decided to get down hard on it and bring out more evil, more lies, start acting like a demon. And as he did, the people were drawn even more to him. Nobody's thinking about killing him. Why? Because he's not about love. He's not about you. He's not about you. He's about them. And that's all they're thinking about, them. It amazed me when you think about these guys saying that they are standing up for beating or tearing down Roe v. Wade, taking away the women's right to choose as to what health care they need or what health care they will accept, that they want to raise their fists up and say, we did it. We got things in order. Yet, at the same time, the people that they're supporting wants to make sure that they're not just supporting babies, that they are killing babies, but they are babies of black people, babies of people of color. And they're not just sticking with babies, they're kicking, including people, grown-ups, mothers, fathers, old folks, and anything that they can touch that is not lily white. Anything that they can touch that does not bow down to white supremacy. This, again, represents what we call a failed system. Now, I mean, it was really shocking this morning when we saw something on the telly that had Donald Trump trying to go before his compadres, lifting up this evil that he's feeding them. And now they got this Jesus Christ, supposedly with his hand standing behind Trump, saying he's supporting Trump. Remember that this is the white Jesus Christ, that they put in the book of the Bible, like they put like they're trying to put the Constitution, like they're trying to put the Bill of Rights in a book. So this is what they put in this book to indicate to all people that open up that book that it's about white folks. Well, so they took this man and got him saying that Jesus is supporting him. Can you imagine for what he represents, lies, cheating, and all of the ugliness that you can think of, and they got him sitting there. Well, another nation who decided that they wanted to tell the truth, at least to the people of America or to the people of the West who have bought into that bull, that the Jesus that the Bible talks about was not white, but black. And now they want to start burning those Bibles. The other Bible, not the one with the Constitution in it, not the one with the Bill of Rights in. But what it does, ladies and gentlemen, if we can understand and will accept that these guys, at the same time that they're wanting to stand up as telling the people that I'm your savior, I am going through hell because I'm trying to protect you, when in essence he's none but one thing, is to protect himself, and using all the people to do that. And while he's doing it, he's relying on the killers to come to the rescue and be available. Stand back because we might need you. Well, what it does is represents, yes, a failed system. A failed system. So, what I would like to conclude from what I've said to this point is this. Many of you have heard of a place called Armageddon. Yes, many of you have heard of that. And they say that something happened. Why did it happen? Because of the corruption, because of the evil, because of the hatred, because of the sexual abuse in every form and fashion that we have today was happening then. And that it was so pathetic and so disgusting that the power that you can't see, can't touch, can't feel, rained down fire to destroy these people. And though there were those who recognized the power that others couldn't see, would pray and ask to deliver or to spare these people, even if they could find 10 people, 10 good people, couldn't find 10 good people. And the only people that survived, supposedly, were Lot and his family. But then that reminds us of an earlier time. We call it the flood, when all of the righteous people, all of the people walking around with Abraham talking about how good and how wonderful God was and all of this, as they abused everything, as they corrupted everything, and were given information about if they didn't straighten up, destruction was coming. And they didn't straighten up. And here again, I don't care what color you were, I don't care what faith you had, you were destroyed if you were not a part of Noah's family. Represents what we're going through today, not just in America, but all over the earth, and all of our beliefs, and all of this and all of that. Is it good enough to save us? I am contented that it will not, and that if we don't straighten up ourselves, we will be having to go through the same thing that these cities and had to go through. And we're talking about the flood. We're talking about the fires that came and destroyed. If, my friends, I can see no reason it wouldn't happen. If these people were destroyed, they couldn't have been any worse than the people of today. And I see that if you, the American people, choose to let this evil tyrant, Donald Trump, get back in office again, you are no better than the people of Noah's day. You are no better than the people during the time of Sodom and Gomorrah. And the destruction that they brought on themselves is the same destruction that you, the people of America, will merit. Now, I say this to you because I care about you, and I'm not believing what I've been taught by you. The stuff that you taught me, no. I'm putting that stuff off. I'm throwing it in the trash with the rest of the trash because it does not meet a standard that says we the people are on the right track. We the people are standing on the good foot. But there's another message that I'd like to refer you to, ladies and gentlemen. It's the message of Jesus' life. You know, and I'd like for you to consider this. You know, the people said, well, let me put it to you this way. If the earth is the place where failed corrupted individuals of heaven. No. Let me put it to you a better way. I think a clearer way. What if you consider this? The earth is a place where all of the corrupted evil of heaven was sent here for the purpose of learning the truth. so that they can choose what kind of life they want to live. Do they want to live heavenly, or do they want to live in the poor, hellish way of life? This, my friends, you heard about sons of God coming to this earth. You heard about people being kicked out of the garden. You heard about the corruption that prevailed in heaven. So it's kind of reasonable to assume that the corruption on this earth exists because it came from some other place, and given an opportunity to choose to live according to your ways, to live according to the ways of white people, to live according to the ways of black people, to live according to the ways of people over here, or the ways of people over there, or the people who want to kill, and people are just anything except the righteous way, because they don't know what it is. The point of it is to learn what it is, to learn what kind of life you can live that would produce peace, that would produce prosperity, that would produce freedom and joy and happiness, to learn what kind of life you have to do and practice if you want to experience your own dreams. If you want to be able to have your needs, your wants, and your desires met on a heavenly standard. This is why you're here, to learn what is required in order to live that way. Because we don't live that way. And that's the kind of way that is heavenly. So, when you're sent here to do that, you got people like the MAGAs, evil people, the same kind that have always existed, going through the same things. But for some strange reason, they say one came to the earth that was to show us what it means when we're talking about living righteously, to show us what it means to have faith in what you can't see, like the earth being built and all the other stuff that you know you had nothing to do with, but it exists, to give you some perspective. Now, they say that person came on this earth, I think they call him Jesus. Well, we know one thing, he wasn't a white Jesus, because the one that they use is standing up behind Trump. And I don't know if it's a black Jesus or what. All I know, he came to represent truth. And what happened? As he walked through this earth, going through the same old kinds of things that we the people have to go through today, they were going through it. And this man walked amongst them, and out of everything that he did, he said to the people that out of all that God had permitted these people to do, all of the resources he had given them so they can choose the right kind of life, they can choose that heavenly kind of life, they still were corrupted. And so what his living and dying suggested, that nothing that you could do on this earth, that you could receive on this earth, was worth selling your soul, worth dying forever for. And so going to the cross was that indication. But nobody like the evil ones of Noah's day, no one like the evil ones of Sodom and Gomorrah's time, no one like the evilness of today would get that message. The message that they got was how to confuse you, how to deceive you, how to lie to you and make you think that his dying on the cross liberated you from all your evilness. Not to show you that you got to be willing to not allow anything to prevent you from doing that which is proper, to prevent you from doing that which promotes heaven. No, they told you don't have to worry about it. He already died for you. You just believe. And as you believe, you continue lying and cheating and stealing and supporting systems that's built on these basic foundations. Nothing has changed. From Noah's day, nothing has changed. From Sodom and Gomorrah's day, nothing has changed. And everything that's happening today, nothing has changed. It's the same identical things. But you've been given a map how to get out of that. And the truth of the matter is, the message that Jesus brought was, when you are born again, like Dr. King, they killed him, but they honor Trump by making him president. The message is being said that once you learn the truth of life, you're going to live the truth before you accept anything of this world. I don't care how much you can have of this world. It means nothing to you that you sell your soul just to get it. But if you don't know the truth, you can't walk according to the truth. So you'll walk according to the dictates of that which you know, and you ignore everything else. And so it's easy, because Jesus died on the cross, which says to you, if you will not put up with anything that this world has to offer you, they will kill you. You don't have to worry about it. You will be dead. And God will allow you to be dead because it means that you have arisen to that point in time when you know the truth. And it is the truth that sets you free. It is the truth that allows you to walk on the cross. It is the truth that allows you to walk into the fiery dentist. It is the truth that allows you to walk into a lion's den. It is the truth, my friends, that frees you. And so when death comes to your door, you welcome it. Why? Because now you're free from this hell. Free from this hell. That was the message that Jesus living and dying was all about. But you won't hear that. You will not hear that. You hear it today, those of you who are listening. So, Jesus' life on earth, what it does, my friends, is put a challenge. How and what have you learned living here? Do you want to be big shot? Do you want to be the big rich guy? Do you want to have all the money? Do you want to have everything that you can imagine that you got in this world, regardless of the pain and suffering that others have to endure, regardless of the stuff that you do not want to have anything to do with, like sleeping on the street, got no food, lying, cheating, killing, and wars, and wearing your pants down. All of these things, ladies and gentlemen, is what you're confronted with. The message is, if you know the truth will set you free. And what I have gotten from those who have taught, who have walked this earth just like Jesus, when you stand up for what's right, you will be killed. Now, I'm not just saying this because I have been given a message about the peace and prosperity and basic, simple ways that you can achieve that. It's not about just believing in Jesus. No, it's about believing the truth. How do you utilize the resources that are given to you? I'm loaning you. How do you continue to live the life? That's not your life. It was given to you. And that is by recognizing and respecting the power that put you here, utilizing those systems that have been put before you, and getting involved and engaging yourself in a process that would allow you to be eligible for anything that exists that's built by the hands of man, because you participated in the process of creating it. So you don't have to bow down to no individual. You bow down to God by honoring one another. Well, that's not the message that they get from Jesus' death. So rather than his death being salvation for the losers, it is the death for the winners. So this, my friends, is not a failed system. It is not a failed system. But the question that's put before you today is, do you know that? Can you see this? And now that you've heard it, are you willing to say that having a big home, and everybody wants a nice home, it's worth you turning your back on the truth, or refusing to reject the truth, hating? You can get that in a system that, let me put it to you this way. This guy, this evil dude in America today, he doesn't even talk about what he can do for you. Only thing he can do is talk about what he's going to do to others. Talking down on them. Nobody's perfect except this one. He's more perfect than Jesus. And the people that support him agree. So I would like to leave the message of Jesus' life to those who would see it as that, as an opportunity to recognize that path that leads you to freedom. And it is not being on this earth. No, my friends. Now, let me kind of say something that I have to qualify this. I don't know if there's a heaven someplace else or not. I don't even know if there is a continued life after you die here. I don't know that, but this is much I do know. It is really fantastic to look around and see everybody happy. It is really debilitating to look around and see people hurting. And when you can get to a point that you would rather not be here than to go through that and be a part of that, because you can't change it and you don't want to try to change it. You just think that power's in somebody else's hand. Well, that allows you to live here. That's because you're still ignorant. You still don't know the truth. If you know the truth, you'd be wanting to get out of here as fast as you possibly can. You're not running. You're not hiding. You're not going through crossing rivers trying to get away to another place that can protect you. You can't be protected. The whole earth is like this. You got to know the truth, and the truth will allow you to die to get out of hell. Can you die to get out of hell? If you can't, you will remain. But I would also like to say to the people of America, you keep Trump. Keep on honoring that evil one. And like Sodom and Gomorrah, like that which happened in Noah's day, your days are numbered.